Congratulations on finishing your course. That was some hard work. Now what do I do with it? Is there anyone that will house my course and help me sell it? What if I can get an entire team to help me sell my course that I worked so hard on? Have I got a discovery for you? The Great Discovery not only has a place for your course, but a network of affiliates that are eager to sell your hard-earned course creation. Want to make a little more money so you can build your course or invest in yourself? Opportunities for all this and more await you at The Great Discovery, or go to tuepodcast.net/discovery for more information. Once again, that's tuepodcast.net/discovery for more information about how to join The Great Discovery now. This is an Undiscovered Legacy production. Undiscovered Entrepreneur, episode number 72, and we got something for you. Can't wait for this one.
Dissect that and make it lucrative. Whether you make yourself a commodity, or you make yourself a hired gun, or you make yourself as a whole a product with your band. So I would say definitely look at it as a business, running like a business. So you got to find other like-minded people, 100%. Yeah. And if you're not willing to make the sacrifices, and you're not willing to go through the pain of it, and that what I like to call the learning curve, then you're not going to succeed, because you don't. If you don't fail, you just won't succeed.
Welcome to the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, the podcast where brand new entrepreneurs come to life and could quite possibly be discovered. Join me, DJ Skoob, and the rest of the Skoobelievers as we help these new businesses become a reality. And now, away we go! Hello, Skoobelievers, and welcome to episode number 72 of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, and it's me, DJ Skoob, coming at you whatever device you happen to be listening on. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the Skoobeliever of the week, and the Skoobeliever of the week is none other than Leo from Films and Fermentations. Definitely an awesome podcast, and I got a chance to talk to Leo personally about some things he was working on. Definitely a Skoobeliever. I want you to check him out and his podcast. So if you want to do that, look into the show notes below, and there'll be a link there to see all about Leo and his podcast. All right, today is definitely a very special episode we put together just for you. I've only done this one at a time with none other than Hal Jester from Hal's Hal Shack, and we are actually doing another musician edition of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur with none other than my brother's band, Los Pistoleros. Now, this band is just amazing. It's a band of musicians, entrepreneurs, with just some awesome stories and insights. They go right into their challenges, their successes, and the essence of their music career, and they unveil their passion, vision, and unwavering support system they have for each other, offering valuable advice for aspiring musicians. You got to witness their unique fusion of genres. It's just amazing. Entrepreneurial ventures and the profound impact their music has on themselves and their audience. We got to join them in celebrating their resilient spirit and creativity to define their entrepreneur path. And make sure you stay all the way to the end. They have something very, very special for us. We're going to get a first listen to their most recent single that hasn't been heard anywhere else yet. So you're going to get a first look at their newest single. First listen of their newest single. Unless you're looking and then you're watching the YouTube. Hi, guys. All right. So let's go ahead and take a listen to my favorite band, my brother's band, Los Pistoleros. Salutations, Skoobelievers, and we are here again with another amazing entrepreneur. But we're not just talking about any sets of entrepreneurs. No. We got something really special for you today. We're giving you a music version of entrepreneurs today. We're talking to Los Pistoleros, And one of the band leaders is none other.
Pistol Arrows.
One of the members is actually my little brother, Jerry Blount. Hey, Jerry.
What's up, big bro?
All right, and we're talking to middle guy. Go.
Andy Hernandez.
And last guy. Go.
Chris Chamberlain.
All right. I got to tell you guys, I've been listening and watching you guys as much as I can, obviously, because my little brother's in there. But I'm really excited to have you guys on my show to talk about how we can have an entrepreneurship as musicians.
Yeah.
I've only done this one other time. If you want to look back into the show notes, I will give you a link to that. One other time I've done this, I did this with Hal Jester of Hal's Shack. Hal Jester's Hal's Shack, and he has a podcast which is all indie music.
Oh, right. Cool.
So we're going to do something like that. But we're going to talk to you guys this time. So I have a very, very important first question to ask you. You ready, guys?
Yeah, what is it?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Are you Skoobelievers?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are Skoobelievers.
Skoobelievers.
Scooby-Doers.
Look at that. I love it.
Gang signs.
Scooby-Doers. Nice. Thanks, guys. All right. I appreciate you being Skoobelievers. All right. So what I'd like to do is go down the line and get a little bit of origin story history of each of you. Jerry, you go first.
Oh, okay. Well, as a musician or just in my general music, I've been since I was about 9, really. Been playing music nonstop. Took a little bit of hiatus a few years ago and then started playing jazz a little bit. And that's been my thing for a long, long time. And then I actually met these guys. Actually funny. I met them doing a side project playing upright bass. And it didn't work out just because I had other things going on. They had other things going on. And then they had another drummer. And he was leaving the band and asked if I wanted to join. And so we got together and we just hit it off the gate and just started playing pretty much since that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it for us. That's our history.
Awesome. How long have you guys actually been playing together?
Since like 2009.
Well, yeah, as a whole unit, me and Andy have been playing together since 2009, summer of 2009.
Yeah.
So coming on 15 years, I think. If I do the math correct.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, math. Okay, next. You're a little bit of origin story and how you got here.
I guess I've been playing music since 4th grade, and I've just been playing my whole life pretty much. And my brother was also in the band when we were kids. And it's, just been doing the same thing since I was in 4th grade. And I'm still old. When I'm getting old, I'm old now. I still do the same thing. So pretty much been playing my whole life. Been played in different bands. And got a little niche going on. And it's working out great. We're in a resurgence going on right now that we got with the band, and definitely I feel like I've kind of ventured out a little bit more, and I came back home to grab everybody and take them back out there and basically show them there is a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. I love that. That sounds fantastic. And then you over there.
I've been playing music since as far back as I can remember. I started with piano, just messing around as a kid, but I started first taking it seriously when I was about 7, 8. I picked up a violin and started with violin and then immediately went to guitar and picked up other instruments along the way. But music's been the one thing in my life that's been consistent my whole life. So, from an early age, self-taught, pretty much just mostly that's been my main bread and butter for comfort and even stability in life. So,
yeah.
That's awesome. It's nice to know that it's nice to have something stable in your life, whether it be music, whether it be podcasting, whether it be something that you have that you can hold on to and it's going to be there for you no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what actually made you want to start this band? I mean, I got a little bit from Jerry, but I mean, what was the catalyst that actually got you guys playing together? What was that? What's that story like?
I guess it was just basically looking for other like-minded musicians that were as, I want to say, tunnel vision and 100% focus on what I was doing with my, I want to say, God-given talents that I didn't know I had, that another musician and an older musician would teach the kids in class, and that's how I discovered I didn't have to try, I didn't learn. It was a natural thing.
Yeah.
and when it's a talent that you have, it's a gift. And so when you realize that and realize its power and its potential, you look for other people that basically are on that same kind of vision and tunnel as you.
Yeah, I want to second that. That's for me what it was too. Is it was the one thing for so many things in my life. I always felt like a little bit of a outsider away from the rest of the group, and I felt like a lot of things I didn't get that other people got. A lot of them were good at sports, and some were really good at just making friends or whatever. I was really good at music, and that was my thing. And I knew that I felt comfortable and I felt confident 100% that I was killing it at that. So I went all for that. And I think for us getting together, me and Andy met actually, I think on we'll call it a classifieds, online classifieds website, without naming certain names. But yeah, we met in an online forum, and I think I was 17 or 16, and he was a little bit older than me, not a whole lot, but he was a little older than me. Took me under his wing and showed me the ropes and helped me cut my teeth on the whole industry, and even showing me the ins and the outs and the do's and the don'ts, and some of the things that we didn't know at that time, or he didn't even know, we learned together and learned how to operate, just ethically, but efficiently and the right way.
Yeah, I think that like all of us individually, music comes from within. So everything that we play, it's something I put out, something he puts out, something he puts out, and it all meshes together. And that's what we all put out. So whatever we put out, everybody else is experiencing what we're putting out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense, because you're trying to put out what your emotions are into the music for everybody to experience, not just yourselves. I mean, of course, you're experiencing the music yourselves individually, but putting it together for other people to experience all together all at once, that's just fascinating.
Creates a whole other monster.
Yeah, it basically creates like a fourth entity.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can't really explain it unless you're, I guess, playing music or as a musician. But when you play with musicians and you all hit that spot at the same time, it's like there's no other feeling like that. When you're just like, damn. It's like you all just, it just happens at one time. It's just, there's no other feeling like that.
Yeah.
Everybody's something, and people are good at music, some people are good at fishing. Everybody has a thing.
And if you don't know, if you haven't found something, keep moving forward, because you will find something eventually.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, we all got to look for that passion within ourselves.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about too. If you don't know what it is, or you haven't found it, look for that little piece that you just love and work off of that and build off of that, and finally get to a point where this is your passion. And that's what I call our zone of genius.
Yeah.
You're all in that zone of genius right now. And I could tell by the way you are together, you work together, you're not talking over each other. You're giving everybody a chance to talk, and you can feel it in your music too, that everybody gets a chance to shine.
Right. Yeah.
And I love that you guys are mentoring each other, not just so much as who has the most passion, who has the most experience, but you all learn from each other. Well, instead of being like an over leader kind of thing.
Yeah, you got to admire the guy that has the opportunity in one way or another to go maybe a little further than people around him, but to turn around and to say, check me out, instead of turning around and coming back and helping your fellow people and lending a hand back to bring them up to where you are too.
Yeah.
Pull each other forward.
So if you go up there more, if I go up more than them, I come back to pull them up. Wherever I go, they're going. Same, vice versa. I just think it's more a good character to turn around and come back and help out. Bring people with you.
Yeah,
show them the way. Show them that your path even a little deeper. Turn around and help them come with you.
And what I call it is we rise by lifting others.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's what it's all about too, not just in music, but in all types of entrepreneurships and all types of businesses that you could run. It's not about you, but it's more about who you could bring with you to lift them up to be better people.
Totally.
Amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Getting started, guys. What were some of the major pitfalls that you had getting started? I mean, we all have pitfalls and problems that we come across in our entrepreneur adventure, no matter what it is. But you guys, what are some of the problems that you had actually just getting started?
I would say immediately would be the funds for the tools for the job.
Yeah.
Such as gear, equipment, quality stuff, the studio, getting going, just like anything else. You got to create that snowball effect. for us, when we came, we actually had something to bring to the table that we didn't start playing venues and bars. We started playing house parties.
House parties.
And so we already had a huge following and a huge crowd. By the time we hit the bars and the professional industry, such as venues and bars and such, we were bringing that crowd, we were packing it. And since we had no idea how the business ran, we got taken advantage of. We didn't know until people that were more deeper in the industry can't turn around and say, "Wait, you're packing the place, they're collecting at the door. What is your percentage?" Because at one point it is a lucrative because you're providing a service. And there's three things that go together within that industry. It's entertainment, food, and beverage. And we happen to be in the entertainment part. And there are people that those three things always go together. You gotta follow. It brings the crowd. You go where the crowd is. You follow the crowd, right? So if there's a barbecue event all in town, it's like the biggest event in town. Everybody's there. And what do we have there? Entertainment, food, and beverage. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. We just happen to be in the entertainment part of it.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing. It's so similar. It's amazing to me how similar that is in entrepreneurship and any kind of business because you want to go where your customers are.
Yeah. You follow the money, you follow the crowds.
Yeah. Sometimes you pop up organically around, like you're saying, the food, beverage, entertainment. It's like the trifecta, and the crowds just sort of gather around it. That's why, like you were saying, like the food truck Fridays or whatever.
Or car shows.
Like that,
you know, there's many different city events, local market. What's it called?
Farmers markets.
Stuff of that nature.
It's not necessarily just pigeonhole to play like bars or venues and stuff like that. There's way more involved than just doing that. But we're doing a couple weeks ago for the art festival here in town. Yeah, playing a show there.
Yeah, I mean, I've even taken my career where it was strictly casinos only. So it was a lot of traveling and just, it's a whole other level of professionalism when you're playing casinos and such. So there's all kinds of different assets. I guess some people get lucky in the beginning. Others, you got to build it. One of the hard things, since going back to the main point, is being unknown. You got to go out there and demo your product. Perhaps you got to do your first. You got to go out there and do your first tour. Yeah. So people got to know you. Usually, it takes about 3 times.
Pay your dues almost.
Yeah, you got to go out there, pay your dues. You got to demo what you got.
Luckily, in a sense, these guys, before I joined the band, they were already known, so they were kind of following. So once we started playing together, we were fortunate enough to already have people that already knew who they were. Yeah. But we're bringing something a little bit different with me being in the band too, which is nice. We're still also playing the stuff that a lot of people already know. Right. So it's great.
Yeah, along with great new music and stuff.
Yeah, music we're cutting up now. It's been great.
I want to add something real quick. When you said what were the sort of setbacks or pitfalls, for me in the very beginning, I feel like I'm going back to when we were actually in California touring just recently. I found a fortune cookie and I opened the fortune cookie. Remember this? And I read the fortune and I handed it to Andy and it said, the only limitations that you will find in life are ones that you set for yourself.
That's it.
And totally. I think like your own worst enemy kind of thing, your own doubts can be a major pitfall and a major setback for me, at least, is I have to really sometimes overcome my own doubts and just and that's where Andy has shown me when I was really young, we did it because I didn't know that we couldn't, because Andy believed that we could. And we did, and we were able to do these things. But if he didn't believe in me when I didn't believe in myself, I don't know that we would even be doing this. Yeah. So I think confidence and belief in oneself is a major thing about moving forward. And how it sounds corny, but it's true. Yeah. Dreaming and manifesting and visualizing.
Yeah, totally.
A lot is years of experience too. Just like anything else, there's that learning curve. And you learn how to hustle the business and the industry in many different ways. And you get hustled along the way because, again, it's part of that learning curve. And so at one point, you learn all the hustles, learn all the angles, and then you're the one in control. And then it's all about how, like he said, your success is measured on how far you want to take it.
Exactly. And you make a good point, too. A lot of us go through something called imposter syndrome, especially when you first started getting out, too. And that's what you're explaining over here just a minute ago, where you really don't feel like am I doing the right thing? You're questioning yourself. Am I worthy of doing this? What am I actually even doing here at this point? And to have somebody say, hey, you can do this. I hear you. I hear your talents. I hear what you're doing. And something I like to say too is the 5 people you hang around the most and surround yourself with is what you actually become. So you 3 surrounding yourselves with each other and what you're doing right now. Well,
On that same thing, when I joined the band, I was doing my own thing. I wasn't really gigging with anybody, but when I started playing with them, I really felt like it fit my needs perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, and not just musically, but also like personality wise, we just clicked really well, and it brought me out of my funk. And I'm like, I could do this. And these guys are constantly like, dude, you got this. Like, you can get this. And it really helped my confidence, both these guys, with even just playing shows together. Really, I haven't played shows in a long time, and it's just really like brought me out of my shell. So yeah, definitely.
You've been climbing the ladder.
Yeah, man.
Are you allowed to talk about that or no?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you say anything?
Well, I just recently got a endorsement by a single company.
Ooh.
About that. Yeah, so
Sponsored
pretty
pro
stoked about
musician.
that. Can't name names of who it is. They got signed with dotted line, but it's in the works right now, and we're all pretty jazzed about that.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That makes my heart feel good for you.
It feels good for all of us, really. But yeah, thank you.
All right. All right, so I'm gonna move on to a different little subject here, and we touched on this a little bit, but I want to get a little further out on some of your influences that you've had as you're going along your entrepreneur adventure and you're in music. What are some of the influences and some of the people that inspire you to keep moving forward, besides each other?
Oh, mine's easy. Well, actually, you were first when I first started playing music. You were my first inspiration because you were playing trombone in the jazz band and the band in elementary school. And then I was like, I had 2 choices: either play the drums or play trombone. My first choice was trombone, but I didn't get trombone, so I started playing drums. And pretty much after that, I've been playing ever since. But another big influence was our dad. He played bass in a guitar or a Doors cover band in high school. And my uncle was a drummer. My grandmother played piano. There's a lot of musicians in our family.
Yeah.
So having that music around all the time was just huge for me. And it was just such an influence of having that camaraderie of music constantly. My grandmother took my first jazz show. That was epic. I'll never forget that. So, I mean, between that and like being able to push myself through music, it's just been, definitely think those have been my huge, big influences for sure.
Well, you're making me cry here a little bit. I had no idea that was happening, but I do remember, and I remember this vividly, going over to my friend Jason's house with you growing up and sitting down and teaching you your first drum riff.
Yeah, and I think it was the Warriors theme from Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's cool. What a cool
I don't think I've been on a drum set since, but
what a good memory, though.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I forgot all about that. Thanks for bringing that back, man.
yeah, that's why I'm like shedding a tear right now because just seeing where I'm getting gushy here, y'all. Just fair warning. Okay, so just seeing where you've come from as we were growing up, and then us getting split apart the way we did, but you continuing on with what you love, with what you're passionate about. And having dad and the family say, "Hey, you can do this. You can do this." So that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Mushing time's over. Go ahead, Annie. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I guess my influences to keep you going.
Yeah.
I would say other people, other bands, other musicians that were doing the same thing at a higher level than I was, and a lot of them turning around and helping me up too. Also, other musicians that I've never met, that artists put things together into perspective. And some of these guys are into, I talked about entertainment, food and beverage. They're in all 3 aspects of those. People that do it full-time players. There's conditions that come with that. But basically, it's being able to see bands that are not necessarily what you call big time radio bands, what I like to call subculture genre.
Yeah.
And band musicians and artists that are very successful and they're entrepreneurs within themselves doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. It's interesting to me how, and this kind of goes back into my life too. where we can talk to people that are in the same area that we're at, but we don't think ourselves as competition, but more as just wanting to help each other out and get higher than where we're at right now. When I first started doing my podcasting, it was the same thing. I was afraid to talk to other podcasters and people that were higher up than me because they don't want to talk to me. I'm competition. But the more I got into talking and understanding what I'm actually into, and I realized these people aren't competition. These are people that wanted to genuinely help me and see me succeed.
Yeah. You get two different types of people. The ones that, like you said, are see you as competition, and then that's a little bit of the ugly side of humanity. But the majority of good art, like you said, good people, and then want to see you be successful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Okay, now it's your turn.
So, I mean, I touched on it earlier a little bit, and again, I'm not trying, we already had sappy time, so which was touching. But to do that a little bit, Andy really did help keep me, like I said, you really did help keep me. You took me from a place where I was like a 16-year-old kid living in my mom's house and he was, in your mid-20s?
Yeah.
He was in his mid-20s. I was 16. And but he took a chance on me, and he was like, "Hey man, I watched him." So I really looked up to him as he was doing this, and like I said, he showed me the ropes. So that was really a big kind of somebody for me to look up to and keep me motivated with music. And he still does, even when I still get really into like a depressive funk or whatever. He pumps me back up, but it's like recharged. Mm-hmm. As far as musicians that I don't know, John Prine he was, real famous country folk singer. He was one of my mom's favorites, and he had his whole career. He went, and then sometime I think in the 90s he got throat cancer and mouth cancer, and they ripped out his entire jaw, his throat, and instead of stopping music, he kept singing, and it just altered his voice. But that became the next era of John Prine music, was that gravelly, heartfelt, really emotional, guttural vocals that I almost love more than the original early stuff. And that was just sort of how they say, what's that saying? Necessity is the mother of invention type thing. Yeah. If it weren't for that, that was like the catalyst for change, even though he took a bad thing and turned it into something beautiful. And he kept going, and he didn't let it slow him down. So I try to look at adversity that way and try to find the little silver lining, I guess, in it, and try and find what I can do to turn it into a good experience.
I think on that same note, Chris, well, we all wrote it, but Chris wrote a song called Reaper, which is one of our new singles that are out right now. And that whole song is based on a true story between these two, the adversity they had to go through and come back to where they are now. Yeah. So if you listen to those lyrics, everything that's in that song actually did happen.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic. It's okay to look up to other people that are higher up and strive to be inspired by them, not necessarily copy them, but be inspired by them and their stories. And sometimes you hit one or two, just like the gentleman you're talking to about a minute ago, where he just does something miraculous, and it gives that warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart. Like, if he can get through that, I can get through anything.
Yeah.
All right. Here's one of my favorite questions. I love this. I might have to, and I want you guys to answer this kind of as a group, okay? When will you know you've made it? When will you think you've gotten to that point where this is exactly where I wanted our group to be? What is that like to you?
We were just talking about this today.
Yeah. From what I think, if we were all to agree on one thing, it's that we kind of have made it.
I think making it can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. There's the guy that has a regular job and does a local cafe acoustic once a Sunday a month. He's happy with that. He's going out doing his music.
Loves his life.
It's there's different levels of success, and there's different levels of making it. There are artists that have never played a show and are successful financially and are huge without ever having played a show because of the internet. In today's day and age, there are different ways to cut your teeth and different ways, avenues of receiving the income. And through music, although you should not limit yourself to one source of income ever, Definitely, it's. I would say for me, it's the moment that you realize how the game is hustled and how it's worked, which was at a really young age for me. That's the moment you've made it, because from then on, it becomes a pursuit of how you can perfect your pursuit of that different avenue of those different ways of the income, because it is a lucrative business.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, I think all of us, in a sense, have made it in all of our lives in some aspect.
Yeah, I mean, we played. For me, I mean, and for us, man, we played with a lot of the big headliner names that got us into this genre of music. I mean, people that we looked up to, we played with them. We shook hands with a lot of, we know a lot of famous people.
And consider some of them friends.
Yes, they're reaching out to us. We help each other out. We have been on big tours. We have gone across 10 states and played multiple cities at a time and stuff, like 30-day runs. I mean, we get paid out here. We have minimums that minimum amount that we receive for these gigs. Our rooms are paid for, our studio time is paid for, nothing but gas, all that is included. So I mean, it depends on what you say when you made it. What is made it to you?
That's what I mean.
What has made it to us? What has made it to the next guy?
A big one for me is we have people that come up to us and say like, "Hey man, your song like impacted me, or your song saved my life. Like I was going to kill myself.
Yeah.
If it weren't for your song, it helped me get through that. Like to me, that's making it. I made it.
We made an impact.
Made an impact on even just one person. Yeah, then we're doing it right.
That's exactly what I mean about when you're playing your music and it's coming out of you and it impacts that person. Watch them dance or just like really feel what we're putting out there. That's making it. You know what I mean? You're impacting them by putting yourself out there.
And at the same time, to always strive to keep progressing and to keep
forward.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's actually very similar to my Made It too. I'm hoping somebody to come up and say, "Hey, DJ Skoob." That's me. "Hey, I heard your programs and like I was just like changed my life because I listened to what they had to say about the music industry." Stuff like that where they say, "Hey, thank you so much for what you do because it changed my life. It made things better for me. It made me think about things differently." That's my Made It moment too. So it's nice that we have a similar thing when it comes to something like that. But that's amazing that you could think of it that way, because everybody's made it moment is always a little bit different. Some people's made it moment is when I get the big house or I get the car. But made it moment for us is more of a warm, fuzzy kind of feeling where we impacted somebody else. We think about other people and what they have to go through and what we can do to change things for them for the better.
Right. Oh.
All right, that's amazing. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Okay. You do your tours and you go out and you talk to people all the time, I'm sure. But if you were to run into somebody that wants to have the same or similar entrepreneur adventure or music adventure as you guys, what would you tell them? What kind of steps would you have them take?
I would definitely tell them it's not an easy process. You got to have tunnel vision. You got to narrow down what you're doing and looking at the many different ways that you can dissect that and make it lucrative. Whether you make yourself a commodity or you make yourself a hired gun or you make yourself as a whole a product with your band. So I would say definitely look at it as a business, running like a business. So you got to find other like-minded people, 100%.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to make the sacrifices, and you're not willing to go through the pain of it, and that what I like to call the learning curve, then you're not going to succeed, because if you don't fail, you just won't succeed. Yeah. Failure is 100% part of success.
Yeah.
So if you're not,
it's inevitable.
If you're not willing, if you're not willing to miss those birthdays, miss those holidays, hop in a van for 3 months at a time, leave the country, leave your job,
be a failure,
there's different things that will stop you, and a lot of them are financial. So you have to be willing to put yourself in a financial position where you can take those hits, take those days off, get yourself a career where you can fund those tools that I'm talking about that you're going to need. Yeah. Pre-set yourself up so when you get your taxes, save up for the days that you're going to need to take off because you're going to be on tour. You know what I'm saying?
Prepare yourself.
You have to prepare yourself, but most importantly, find other like-minded people and be ready to make that sacrifice.
Don't be afraid to take the leap.
And you have to take that leap. And I learned how to swim by drowning. I just jumped in. I knew that I didn't know how to swim, and I said, "This is how I'm going to figure it out." And I jumped in. And yeah, I drowned, but you know what? I figured it out. So you got to be afraid to not take that leap. And most people, I'll tell you right now, do not have the courage or audacity to live the life that we do and to do what we do. They do not. They are attached to their comfort zone, their job, their career. They do not have the courage to do what we do. And so that's what I mean. Really ask yourself, is this something you really want to go down? Because if you're not that diehard about it, don't waste your time. It's not for you.
That's amazing, dude. I got to tell you, it's funny that you being in the music industry still use, and I'm saying this is amazing, still use the same words that we use in entrepreneurship. Comfort zone. That's a big one. That's a big one in entrepreneurship. And this just goes to prove how music and what you all do is still an entrepreneur adventure. When I first thought about it, it's like music is a whole different type of industry. How is that an entrepreneur adventure? But the more I talk to music inclined people like yourself, or even Hal, like I talked about earlier, how similar a lot of what you all do is an entrepreneur adventure. Failure to success, like Chris said a little bit earlier. That's what it is. That's really what an entrepreneur adventure. We fail until we succeed, but there's no success until we experience failure.
Right.
Yeah.
I think every band that starts out is an entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Because you're putting yourself out there, right? And if you want to make it a career, that's really what it really is. It's an entrepreneurship. You're promoting yourself. You're getting yourself started. No one else is doing it for you. So every band, no matter who you are.
There's also musicians that have stage fright and don't want to be in front of crowds, but you know what? They're in the studio making jingles for marketing companies.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you got to find your angle.
Finding their corner on the market.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
And I love how honest you are with your answer to that question, because a lot of people will only talk about the bright side of things, the happy side, the things like that. But you got to understand that this is something that can be tough. It's going to be difficult, and you have to be ready for those failures. You have to be ready for those downsides that go with the upsides. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. Sometimes it's bowls of mud. It's just how it is. And I love how you talk about being scrappy. That's what I call that too. Not just having, okay, we got to set this one thing, but we got to make sure we're doing these other things too. And we're making money so we can do this and come over here and do that. I love the scrappiness of that.
Yeah.
We're all scrappy in a sense.
You have to adapt. If you miss your target, if you're aiming for a target and you miss the target, you realign your sights back on the target, you get back up and stay resilient and keep going until you hit the target.
Exactly. And just so you all know, I'm not talking Scrappy like Scooby-Doo Scrappy. We don't talk about him anymore. He's evil. All right. This is going to be an interesting question, especially talking to a band like y'all. But if I was looking to hire you as a band, but I had two other bands that I was looking at that has the same kind of music, same kind of charges the same amount of money, what would set you three apart from, say, two other bands?
We set things on fire. No.
I think
well. I hope I have insurance for that. Okay.
The thing we get a lot is the upright bass. It's a commodity. You don't see it that often. So people are very intrigued by the upright bass. It's also what he was going to say. I think we would say our backstory.
Our stories that individually and our story as a whole, as Andy calls it, the fourth entity.
Yeah, and we've gained a lot of fans over all these 15 years, and people watch us and our story, and most bands don't last. So because we have lasted so long, there has been almost a comic book story written about us. There's a legend to it, there's a story to it, and we've taken some hard hits. But I think we're in a good state now. I think people acknowledge it and realize it, and they say when you're doing good things happen. And we can't help but notice all the positive things happening. And I would say people, I think if they get to know us or look at us, if you had an option, I think it's a feeling thing. From our success, people would do it off a feeling for us.
Yeah,
definitely.
Some say it's the look, some say it's the upright bass, some say it's the sound. I think people have a feeling about us.
Yeah. I definitely think what we're putting out there is new and bright and clean and good, and people can really get with what we're doing right now, you know?
And I think that's what a lot of the music industry is missing right now is something that's different, something that is new. I mean, a lot of the music you hear nowadays, it's very similar.
Recycled.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's missing the authenticity. And that's something I think that at this day and age, you look at everything mainstream, everything on the radio. How many people do you really see playing their real instruments these days? There's so many genres of music that, and no, I'm not dissing it or anything, because I think anything you can do and you do it well, that's great. Everybody has their thing, but it's a dying breed with authentic, real, live music. Instruments.
Yeah, definitely.
It's these days a lot of music is purely computers. And I think that's one thing that sets us apart from a lot of the bands these days, is that not only do we play real instruments, but we play some instruments that are almost almost extinct instruments. You could probably count on both hands the amount of people in our area, at the very least, that have this instrument featured, the stand-up bass. Mm-hmm. But the way that he's playing it is completely his own way. Mm-hmm. And with the style and the genre of music that we're playing, even in our little subculture, we have our own little style of it. Mm-hmm. So I think we definitely have a way of setting ourselves apart.
I definitely think we stand out, even like another genre of music. We stand out a little bit different than everybody else.
Yeah.
It's also, another that is our professionalism. When other venues or promoters look at you, it counts your visuals, your numbers online. Certain promoters want to see our previous ticket sales.
Yeah, our draw.
Which are a couple, we had a sold out one recently. So they want to see your draw. Some people want to see if you're afraid to split. People want to take your percentage of your merch sales. And so your website, you carry yourself with your online presence too. If you don't have any of these bright points, what I like to call you checklists, people look at all that, and promoters and venues look at specific things. So it depends on where, are you looking at us from a guy that wants a local wedding gig, or you just want a band, or are you looking at us from a promoter that's looking to sell some tickets and put us in a big place in San Francisco with a big venue and make a mean band?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So It depends. Or are you just looking to hire the Friday night band? You know what I mean? So it depends on what you're looking for. So
you guys have such a differentiation when it comes, especially the upright bass. I mean, how many bands that play your genre of music have an upright bass? Just like Chris was saying just a few minutes ago, it's that one thing that differentiates you from everybody else that's out there.
Right. And I think our music speaks for itself. Although there is that psychobilly, rockabilly genre, there's punk, there's ska, there's different styles, right?
Jazz.
There's jazz. So I think we play with a lot of different bands, and they almost don't know where to place us. You could say our own peers within our own genre call us pop punk, because our music isn't to the psychobilly line. It isn't the rockabilly line. It isn't the punk line. It's the ska.
Right.
You can hear it. We have outlaw countries.
Got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So people, even our own peers, don't know where to put us because we're a little bit of everywhere, a little bit of taste of everything.
Yeah, that sounds like what I like to do with a lot of business people that I talk to, and they come to me for advice, and they're doing 2 or 3 different things. And I was like, why don't you just mash them all together and just make something new? And that's how it sounds like you're taking all these genres and you're mashing them all together to make a new sound.
Hybrid monster.
Yeah,
we are. It's a hybrid monster.
So that's amazing. So, okay, you're hired. Okay, good. All right. So, all right. This is my favorite question, but I did steal this from another podcast, so I'm sorry, everybody. What is one question that you wish I would have asked you but didn't? I always miss one that everybody's ready for, but I never ask that question. What is that question, guys?
What is life on the road? Thank you for not asking that. The road stays on the road.
No. What question do we wish that you asked?
Correct.
That one, I really sat and tried to
I did too. I was trying to think of something too.
find something. But what else would we be doing if we weren't doing this?
There you go.
Oh, I like that. So if you guys weren't playing music with each other, what would you be doing?
Yeah. I came up with the question. I don't have the answer.
I only answer because I already have a career, but I work on cars. That's what I do for a living. I've been an Audi tech for 25 years. So if I wasn't doing this, which is what I really want to be doing, obviously this is what we all have a passion about. I'm good at what I do, but this is what I'm passionate about. I think there's two different variations between that. Like I'm a good technician. I'm really good at fixing cars. Always have been since I was a kid. That's not what I'm passionate about. Music is really what feeds my soul, not cars. So if I had to, I'd have to pick cars, obviously, because I couldn't do anything else. Do that or sell blood. They're pretty good at that.
I guess for me it would be I'm a union iron worker. So I would be hanging and banging, torching, welding, doing stuff like that. Steel work, putting up in buildings. Yeah, ironwork, steel work. That's what I do.
Shop,
oh, yes. And so I also have a print shop.
This guy kills it.
So we have merchandise. Some of the things that we offer are obviously our musical services, but we also offer merchandising, apparel for your bands, for all businesses. And we also offer a network of bands that come through Reno. And everywhere we know bands everywhere, they hook us up there and set us up, and we set them up here in Reno. So over the years, we built a spider web of connections, and that's how our tours go.
And we've been able to cut out the middleman.
So we've been which help us a lot, boosted our income because we're able to cut out the middleman. We make our own shirts, prints, full color. We also make embroidery too, hats, anything. We do it all for other bands and other businesses as well.
Andy's really, really good at it too, so keep that in mind.
Andy, do you drop ship?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we're gonna have a conversation. Okay. Chris.
My other passion is in the harm reduction outreach field. So I think I'd probably be doing something in that arena. I struggled with addiction for many years and finally overcame that through support and family and music and my dreams and feeling a purpose of, besides needing to just waste away somewhere. So I want to help other people that are still dealing with it and try to help them get to, kind of like we were discussing earlier, like if you make it farther than your peers, you turn around and you help them get to where you are. So something in that area I'd probably be doing.
That's awesome. That's great. So this is a good example. Sorry, guys, I'm making an example of you, of your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. Two very similar things, but produce a very different product if you really think about it. So, like Jerry's zone of excellence is working on cars, but his zone of genius is music. Yes, and the same thing for Andy, where his zone of excellence is in printing and the kind of thing he talked about earlier, but his zone of genius is music. Right. And same thing for you, Chris. Your zone of genius ends up being music. And we really have to be careful how we can separate these two to fulfill us with more love and abundance in our lives than just if we were to work on cars or print a t-shirt or whatever it is. Finding that zone of genius is really what escalates us to where we could actually be.
Yeah. I was thinking in a perfect world, I'm doing the merchandise. Chris would own his own recording studio.
Oh, man.
And then Jerry would own the vinyl pressing machine. And then we're basically a label working for ourselves, and we're our own self-funded.
Check situation. Back with us in 3 years.
Well, Chris, it's funny you'd actually say that, because what I'd actually like to do with you all is I'd like to know your 6-month goal. Where do you see you and your band in the next 6 months?
I would say finishing up the album and producing the vinyl.
Yeah.
Physical vinyl. really cool color, nice vinyl, and definitely start getting in the realms of looking for help with booking agents and seeing what labels have to offer, what kind of relief financially, and how far their tentacles can, like I said, reach out further than what we know.
Yeah. Endorsements, sponsorships,
Hey, we're getting there.
partnerships, yeah, and ultimately contracts, deals that we can do to
some more proper management.
Yeah, because we are. I think we're killing it with the resources that we have available. But I would love to see what we can do with some real solid backing.
Yeah. I think the sky's the limit if we had that.
Yeah.
I think we had that, we would just be.
When we have that.
When we have that, we'd be able to just take off from that point.
Yeah. When but when the time's right, it'll get there. I think ultimately, though, I think we're just all having a lot of fun doing what we're doing, enjoying it before the Reaper takes us.
There's a fine line there, and a lot of stuff we do for the love of labor because we love doing what we do.
Right.
But we also understand that it's a lucrative industry, and that we are with all our rods on our boat. The more fishing rods, the more bait, the more chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I love that. I'm going to use that. All right.
No, we already allowed him.
Oh, that's right. Damn.
See, I thought about this way ahead of time. So.
Yeah, you've done this before.
So what I'd like to do with you guys, if it's okay, is in 6 months, I want to have another interview with you, just like this, and see if you've accomplished those goals. See if we actually have the album out. See if we actually have the vinyl out, which I never thought I'd be saying again after the 80s, but that came back. And see
another niche. Yeah, we're talking about.
There's a
there's a whole subculture on vinyl and even
colored vinyl.
Cassette,
different colors,
special edition.
Yeah, limited runs.
And that's with the real quick, just to add on to that 6-month goal. That album that we are putting out we're planning on. It's going to be I'll just, without divulging too much information, it's going to be a special. It's going to be a special one. It's going to be special.
Yeah, we've all been working really hard on it, all of us individually.
I really think the 3-piece is going to be a really cool.
We got some cool art.
We got some really good ideas.
Some really cool art ideas.
Concept.
We also we're in the studio recording and getting this out put together. Discuss. We're going to release something specifically for you guys. You're going to have the first cut of this new track that we just did. I'll give you the very first one, so all your listeners are going to get the first ones to hear it before it's actually released. So.
Okay, hear that, Skoobeliever? We are getting a first listen to this song. I guess it's the first time it's being released, so stay tuned for the end of the show because we're going to actually have that for you during the wrap-up that I always have at the end of every show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, so we'll follow up with you in 6 months, see if you've made those goals, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, so this is your time to shine, guys. This is your time. I want you to advertise yourself. How do we get a hold of you? How do we become your biggest fans in your band?
Pistolerosrock.com is our website. You can go on there. It has all our tour dates, all our bio, all our links, all our information. We are on over...
Shop is on there.
Yeah, our shop. We are on over 150 platforms. And Los Pistoleros, Reno, Nevada. Look up Reno, Nevada.
Or just lospistolerosrock.com.
Yep. You can find us on every platform, on Spotify, Apple, whatever.
We're on everything.
We're on everything.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, so. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to talk to us, talk to the Skoobelievers about how music can actually be an entrepreneur adventure. Thank you so much. And we will follow up with you in 6 months. Okay, guys?
All right.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Jerry, Andy, Chris, thank you. All right, everybody, all my Skoobelievers, make sure you stay tuned for the wrap-up. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Skoobelievers, that was my brother and his band. Wow. I know this is the only second time I've actually done musicians. First time with my brother. And that's the first time I've seen him in a really long time. So, but it's amazing to me how musicians and what they do and how they promote themselves is all an entrepreneur adventure. How it all mashes together to be an entrepreneur adventure. It took me a long time to get that through my head that musicians and music and even actors are all entrepreneurs in their own way, shape, or form. So I'd like to say thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Chris, for coming onto the show and showing us how music can be an entrepreneur adventure. Make sure you stay tuned for the end of the program. I actually have that single that we were talking about, and you're going to hear it first. Nobody in public has heard this yet. That's right. You have the first dibs of listening to this single from my brother's band. So let me introduce to you the newest single from Los Pistoleros, Home for the Heartless. Here we go.
When the rain stops pouring in Seattle and the wind stops blowing in Chicago, when those rats did run around on the streets in my hometown, stop making friends with the enemy. Friday will always be Friday. I'm still waiting for this to be my day. I'm a rap Lamborghini, what's the meaning? I'm a racehorse jockey, so I'm told. Be careful playing cards with the devil, 'cause the devil always knows when to fall. Vacuum up the ashes of the bridges that I burned yesterday, to clean the feelings of the ones that help me along the way. But when home doesn't feel like home anymore, I'll find a place to rest my weary head and find my home. Find my home will grow. Take me home. Take me home. They say home is where the heart is. She was right when she called me heartless. No place like home, then no wonder I can't find it. Home is where the heart is. She was right when she called me heartless. No place like home. Vacuum up the ashes of the bridges that I burned yesterday, to clean the feelings of the ones that help me along the way. But when home doesn't feel like home anymore, I'll find
DJ Skoob here, and I just want to personally say thank you for listening to my program. I really hope you learned something. Tune in 2 weeks to listen to another brand new entrepreneur. And remember, I can, I am, I will, and I'm doing it today. Do you find yourself faltering when speaking in public? You definitely know what you're talking about, but you just can't seem to get over the horrific fear, and imagining people in their underwear is just not working. Whether you're gearing up for a big presentation or just looking to improve your daily communications, Leslie Fiorenzo is your go-to resource for mastering self-promotion, facing your audience fearlessly, and communicating with authority. Don't miss out on your opportunity to elevate your game. Contact Leslie Fiorenzo now, or go to tuepodcast.net/speak to step into the spotlight with confidence. Your adventure in public speaking mastery starts here and now. Don't wait to get your voice heard. Book your free consultation at tuepodcast.net/speak to start your adventure in speaking excellence today.